In a shocking legal twist, the Court of Appeal has overturned the High Court's ruling, ordering the former permanent secretary to the president to serve the remainder of his 7-year sentence. This decision has reignited public debate. Was justice truly served, or is this political maneuvering at its finest? Let's break it all down. Before we get into it, hit that like button, share, and subscribe to Snap Flash for all the latest on Botswana's biggest legal battles and political shakeups. Morupisi's freedom was short-lived. The Court of Appeal ruled in favor of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, reinstating his prison sentence and delivering a major blow to his legal team. In January, the Gaborone High Court set aside Morupisi's conviction, citing procedural errors and alleged violations of his constitutional rights. But the DPP pushed back, arguing that the High Court had no jurisdiction to overturn a Court of Appeal ruling. The decision reinforces that lower courts cannot override the highest court in the land. The Court of Appeal made it clear Morupisi's conviction stands, and he must complete his sentence. Morupisi, who briefly tasted freedom, has now returned to prison to serve the remainder of his 7-year term. To make matters worse, the court has ordered him to pay the costs of the appeal, piling on more financial pressure. His claims of being framed remain, as he was led away, insisting that he is a victim of political persecution.
Nothing much that one can expect from it.
I mean, if you mentioned it has never been a fair court, but you once
Right, my case, related to my case, yes. Even the High Court.
Maybe why do you feel like they were maybe against you? In particular, Botswana,
when you use somebody's case for political mileage, this is what happens. And you end up financially or you're not supposed to be punished for. People concealing a lot of information, telling what could otherwise be placed before the courts, and what it's proper, which I have. And unfortunately, when you are not listened to at all levels, the whole process is one-sided. You end up with this kind of things.
Do you still maintain your innocence?
Very much so. Very much so. I'll prepare a brief when I get out of prison and make sure that I brief all the journalists. Yes, I'll do that. Because my freedom is very important. It doesn't matter how many years you put me in prison, but the fact of the matter and it's going to exonerate me. I was wrongly convicted and all these things.
Maybe this is the last one from me. Botswana basampe ba dumela gore o ka bo sa phila in the first place. Our ikotela, is there any sort of
no, because I knew had I had a fair court, it would have seen things different. But with our system here, the influence you are giving my politics. Because I knew what I was doing and I know what I've done, other than the things that I've been framed to have done.
Is there any one person you can pinpoint who would want you to go down for maybe something such that they want you to be the fall down person?
There are many. I think it's a cohort.
Maybe you can mention a few names?
People. It just starts with President Masisi and the DIS Director, Morupisi, and all these other people, in this case, they know what they've done. Including both PSP, they are all involved in this matter and they know what the role they play. So, when you have a board about 17 and everybody turns your back against you, what do? You can't force them to come and be witnesses, both from the employer side and employee side. So it's not something that you can say nya kita tsayo kere ke tsayo. Everybody was being pushed to be on one side.
But was this a fair ruling? State Attorney Chiamo Rantau welcomed the ruling, stating that justice has been restored and the judicial system upheld.
Re go pa yo comment se hela ka gore dimelo ntse le for the state to appeal the judgment there the high court. But are you happy with the verdict they are today?
As we all heard, the Court of Appeal agreed with our submissions that the application before the High Court was unmerited because the High Court does not have any powers whatsoever to set aside or to issue an order whose effect is to set aside a decision of the Court of Appeal. It cannot under any circumstances do so. That is what the Court of Appeal made very clear. As a matter of law, and as a country that respects the rule of law and due process, we are pleased with that decision because it sets the record very clear that under no circumstances shall the High Court purport to act under any provision of the Constitution, particularly Section 18 of the Constitution, by reversing our decision of the Court of Appeal. Yes, we are pleased with the outcome. We are pleased mostly with that particular legal precedent that the Court of Appeal set or made clear in the circumstances. Of course, I cannot be happy that any person loses their liberty. It is nothing to celebrate as a matter of fact, so I can't celebrate that. But what I celebrate is the rule of law, is that there is certainty on the law, with the law. People are not confused. The public is not confused as to whether a lower court can set aside a decision of the upper court, of the apex court, because the Court of Appeal is the apex court. And the Court of Appeal today made it very clear that you cannot, under any circumstances, purport to use the Constitution to do so at the High Court. So that is in agreement with what we've been arguing all this time. And in effect, what it means is that the decision of the Court of Appeal sentencing Mr. Morupisi to an effective 7 years imprisonment applies. The decision of the High Court does not apply. It has been set aside, remaining with only one decision, which is a decision of the apex court, which cannot be tampered with by any other court.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rantau.
For the prosecution, this is a major win, proving that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. What's next for Morupisi? Will his legal team try one last desperate appeal? Will this case set a precedent for future high-profile corruption trials? One thing is certain, this is not the last we'll hear of Carter Morupisi. What do you think? Was justice served, or was this political payback? Drop your thoughts in the comments. For more breaking news, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. That's it for now, Snap Flash fam. Stay tuned, stay informed, and keep questioning everything.